when I tell you that I have been ill. I went to work today, which was, it was a nice day, but oh my god, my stomach hurts so much. I've spent my last 2 days, which were my days off, Sunday, Monday, throwing up, and just like all the muscles in my torso were just like this. It's just, and I still feel nauseous, but I'm so hungry, but I'm afraid to eat. Oh my god, why? Bit of a weird angle. Because I can't remember where I put my tripod. So you're currently on my pot of chocolates that's in the library. It's been a while. It's been a while. My bad. I've been in kind of a slump, and I've been focusing a lot on my uni studies. I've got quite a tricky essay, 2 essays to do, and I'm a little bit stuck on them at the minute. So I need to buckle down and do it. I've just read The Life and Lies of Charles Dickens, which was very interesting. Didn't realise how much of a dick he was, but nonetheless, he was a dick. Mainly to all the women in his life. I mean, he tried to put his wife in an asylum after what the author reckons he gave his wife syphilis, and then when she became, you know, the third stage of syphilis is mental health problems, memory loss, you can go death and stuff like that, and he wanted to get rid of her, essentially. And it kind of makes sense why a lot of his children died young, because of congenital syphilis can affect your heart and stuff. And he didn't really care about his children anyway. Nonetheless, he was on that woman constantly because she had 10 children. 10 fucking children. Just get off of her. Anyway, so I finished that. I'm currently reading, I've just done the second third of the book club pick that I've forgotten the name of. A Far Wilder Magic. I remember things, don't remember things. I forgot to do the weekly update this week, but that's because I fell asleep. I'm currently reading Harvey Oliver Baxter's Fallen Thorns. I didn't realise it was vampires. For some reason I thought it had something to do with the Grim Reaper. I don't know why. But we'll see. I mean, I've seen a lot of 5-star reviews for this. I've gotten through that chunk, so I'm like 45% through. And I'm holding out hope that it gets better. Here comes Hazel. Hi, baby. Hi. Coming in? Hello. Oh, bye-bye. is the robot Hoover in the way? I'm sorry. So yeah, I hope it gets better. I've been tabbing it. It's very interesting, but I don't feel connected to the characters. I think that's my problem. It's probably a me thing. But I feel like it's very formulaic at the minute. Yes, I know, Papa, I know you're there. I just feel like, yes, I'm rubbing your belly, Jesus. I just feel it needs a bit of polishing, I think. But, you know, obviously it's independently published. The author's, you know, he's given it a good try, and it's very interesting. So we'll see. I mean, I'm only a little bit of the way in, so it could blow my mind. It very well could. Oh, I read The Temptation of Magic by... I'll put a picture of... High five. I know. And that was good. Again, it just felt like it needed polishing. It just felt a bit... They did this, and then we did this, and then we did this. I'm not sure how to explain it, but it just didn't feel... It didn't... You know, there wasn't like a flow to it. It was just a bit obvious, and it felt, instead of feeling like a discovery of witches, which it was blurbed to be like, it felt more Shadowhunters. It felt very much more Shadowhuntery than it did Dark Academia. It was okay. Although I am excited for next week because I'm participating in the Trans Rights Readathon. So you are currently held by a massive stack. It's about from my head to my waist high of books. Yes. That are either by trans authors and or have trans characters in them. I'll show you the pile, but I'm not certain on some of them which is which. So I will have to rearrange and then show you the books. 1 second. Okay. I've just found my journal at the bottom of the pile, so I'm just going to double check what I've read. Oh yes, I read Someone You Can Build a Nest In, which was disgusting. So gross. The body horror was strong with this one. Do not read if you're squeamish. I loved it. It was disgusting and yet very cute with the romance. I mean, the romance was like just like a side plot. It was just a whole story about this creature called Shen. That's like this anamorphic creature that can, you know, create make themselves human by using the bones of the humans that they've eaten and stuff, and it was grim. But I really enjoyed it. I will say the American cover for this kind of describes the story more than the cover in the UK. The UK cover makes it look more like a Legends and Lattes kind of tale, and it's not. It is nothing like that. Do not go into it thinking you're going to get a cute and cozy romance, because that's not what you're getting. It's not what you're getting. I also read The Whisperwicks by Jordan, I want to say Lees. Yeah, Lees. And I met this author too. He came into my store and dropped off a proof copy. I already had a proof copy, and I read it, and it's a middle grade, and it's stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. So when it comes out, I'll show you like the sprayed edges for the Waterstones edition. I'm gonna buy myself a finished copy. It's beautiful. It really is. If you like middle grade, like oh god, it was like Inkheart mixed with kind of, oh god, how do you describe it? It was stunning. I highly recommend it. I also, well, I listened to Murder by Gaslight by Troy Taylor, and either the narrator got names mixed up, or it was generally in the book mixed up, like incorrect names and pronunciations were strange. Like, instead of saying livened up, the narrator said livened up, and it's basically an audiobook kind of about turn of the century Chicago and H.H. Holmes, which I was really interested in because I don't know much about H.H. Holmes, but the audiobook was just not the one, so I wouldn't recommend that at all. And then I also read the 11th volume of the Apothecary Diaries, and it's my favourite manga series. I'm really excited for the light novels to start coming out in the UK, and I have seen clips of the anime, but I can't afford a Crunchyroll account at the minute, so I'm going to have to live vicariously through the Facebook group that I'm in. So let's get on to the Trans Rights Readathon. Hopefuls. It's quite a pile. So I have a middle grade that I've always wanted to read, and I probably will get to this because it's going to be a quick read. It's Dear Mothman by Robin Gao, and it's basically a book written in verse, and it's this young child who decides to start writing letters to Mothman because they believe that Mothman would understand what they're going through, and it's kind of it you know, it talks about grief, it talks about friendship, it talks about belonging and loneliness. So I'm excited for this. As I said, I don't know some of these authors if they're trans or not, so I'm not gonna assume their identity. So we've got Camila Sosa Filada. I'm learning Spanish and I can't do anything. This is the Queens of Sarmiento Park. It's basically about a group of sex workers who are also trans, and they find a baby in a bush and they decide to care for it, and it's kind of like a little found family. Obviously unconventional because they are a group of trans sex workers, but I think this is going to be amazing. Yeah, I think it's going to be beautiful. So I'm excited for that one. It's quite short, so maybe I can get to that one. This is one I've wanted to read for a very long time. It's Light from Uncommon Stars. It's one that caught my eye last year during the Trans Rights Readathon. So I ordered this one in. I have no idea what it's about, and I kind of want to go into it completely blind because apparently it's like a mishmash of everything that's going on. But I hope it gives me the Becky Chambers vibes that I'm getting from the cover. So we'll see. So there's that one. There's also a non-fiction, which is the transgender issue, which is quite prevalent at this time, sadly. Then I have, I'm not sure whether this counts, so we'll see. If it does, I'll read it in the week. If it doesn't, I'll read it after. But it's A Psalm for the Wild Built and then A Prayer for the Crown Shy, which is 2 Monk and Robot books by the aforementioned Becky Chambers. I'm not sure if the characters are trans. I will look further into this to see if, we'll see. I will look into this, but I saw it on some people's TBRs. I also saw this on some people's TBRs and being recommended, but I'm going to research it a little bit more before the readathon starts. The First Bright Things, and it's basically, I heard it's like time traveling night circus. I'll look into it. I'm not sure how the author identifies. I know that in the blurb about themselves, they use she, her pronouns. I've seen it on people's TBRs for the week. I will again research further. I just kind of went about the library and picked out ones that I saw other people were reading. I need to shift, my leg's going dead. Sorry. My bad. And I saw some people were going to read this, and I don't know whether it's a queer romance. I know that. I don't know if one of the characters is trans or non-binary or gender fluid, but I will look into that. A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. I haven't read it, but I already own the sequel because I heard so many good things about this. So there's that one. This one is, again, I'm not sure, but I heard that one of the characters in this, I think it might be the character who is murdered. So the main character, Feliciana, her cousin, it looks like we're beginning to transition when they're murdered. So, and then, did you just turn the Hoover on? You okay? I'm sorry, Bubba. Are you getting bored on the floor? So it looks like that Feliciana and a journalist from Mexico City are going to try and solve the murder, and it's called Witches by Brenda Lozano. This is the story of who Feliciana is and who Paloma was. They keep using Paloma where in the blurb the character Paloma is giving up being a healer to realize her gender identity as, it's M-U-X-E, Mux. I'm gonna Google it. Then we've got, I know Kweke Imeze is non-binary, so and I believe Vivek Oji is trans. I don't know, but another short one that I would like to get to at some point anyway in my life. I was sent this one and I'm so excited. It's Infinity Alchemist by Case and Calendar, and I love Case and Calendar. So this one, they even sent me a finished copy with sprayed edges. So this is the beginning of a powerful fantasy adventure, a high-stakes world of magic and deception where characters are queer, trans, polyamorous, and loved without question. That's exciting. I might get... Oh, God, I want to read all of these. Hazel, you keep pressing the button. You're so cute. I have to read the second Rebel because the first sister was so good. And it looks like I preempted myself by putting tabs in there. Hero is the trans, non-binary, gender fluid character in this. I think they're trans. And I loved First Sister. You need to read it. I am not a sci-fi girly, and that slapped. That was such a good book. And then we also have The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which I haven't tried yet. I haven't read it yet, but I believe I've got number 2 on the shelf as well. I need to stop doing that. But yeah, that one as well. So that is my giant pile for the Trans Rights Readathon. And then behind me, I'm going to flip the camera and show you what you're leaning on, which is the tower of books that I have mainly been given. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I've lied to you. I mainly bought this pile. Anyway, we have In the Upper Country by Kai Thomas. These are ones that just popped out at me at work. The Upper Country is about this black woman, elderly, who's been arrested for murder, I think. But it's because she is an escaped enslaved woman, and she murdered what are they called? Like a slave hunter, like one of those people that would find them and bring them back to their owner, which is disgusting. But I find that very interesting, and there's going to be a person who also finds it interesting and starts to interview her, and then she kind of talks about her life rather than about the murder, and kind of weaves the story through it, and that sounds really good. The World and All It Holds basically caught my attention when it's two men who fall in love during World War One, very much in memoriam style, so I'm here for that. Let me take away the jar of sweets. Then we have, we've got this is the book of that accompanies Ghosts, the BBC series, so I bought that ages ago. I was sent An African History of Africa, which I'm really excited to read. I got a finished copy of The Warm Hands of Ghosts. This is the Waterstone Special Edition signed, so the edges are sprayed and everything. I was sent The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I bought The Covenant of Water because I kept staring at it when it was hardback, but it's such a chunky book. I was like, I'm going to wait for the paperback because it was chunky. And then we've got Butter because everyone keeps talking about this, and I love a book where there's serial killers, and it feels very much Hannibal Lecter-y in the fact that this woman is all set in Japan. It's a translated work. This woman would lure men to be interested in her by her cooking, and then she would kill them. But now she's arrested and she won't talk to anyone until this journalist lady decides to just message her, not about the murders, but about the recipe for her beef stew. And then they become friends and they start talking. So that's going to be really interesting. And apparently it's very much like, it talks about feminism and misogyny, especially within, I believe, the Japanese culture. And then we have The Maiden by Kate Foster, which is based on a true story set in Scotland in the 1600s, where a woman, I believe, murdered her lover. But it kind of talks about how whether she had to kill him to look after herself and, stuff like that. And I believe that was the Scottish Book of the Month for Waterstones this month. Then I got sent A Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas Westerbeck, and I'm so excited for this one. I keep seeing him on TikTok talk about this, and it's basically about a young girl. I believe it starts mid 1800s, and she discovers that she gets really sick and starts like bleeding from her nose and fainting and whatnot when she's stuck in one place. But then when she keeps walking, she's fine. So she literally, for her entire life, is just walking around the world. And obviously it's during the 1800s and then it goes into the 1900s. So there's probably going to be a couple of wars. There's definitely going to be some upheaval. I believe she walks through a desert and stuff. So this is going to be very atmospheric, I feel. I'm really excited about this. Then we were sent The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. He wrote The Passage, which is a horror book based on like vampire children. This one is weird, and I'm not sure I'm gonna like this one, but I'm gonna give it a go. Then I bought Darcy Coates' The Hollow Dead, which is the 4th book in the Whispering Dead series. I love this series. Darcy Coates does the best cozy horror. It's just amazing. Then Liz Nugent, we were sent The Strange Sally Diamond, and it kind of got me because the first kind of line on the blurb was when her dad died, she put him out with the rubbish because that's what he always told her to do, and she just took it literally. And I think there might be kind of like some kind of crime that she kind of tries to solve, maybe. I was taken with that because as someone suspected with autism from a family of a lot of autistic people, taking things literally is just it's what we do in this family anyway. And then I asked for an abundance of wild roses. This one is, oh, I'm not sure, I'm gonna have to, I was kind of iffy about it until in the blurb it said that you get the point of view of a wolf dog who goes through like hunger and like fights death to save this dying soldier, and I am here for any book that has the point of view of an animal. So Pakistan, okay, it's really interesting. Spirits of the Mountain as well, so when like the land has a point of view as well, I love that, so I'm looking forward to this as well. There's the beautiful author. Beautiful. Oh, it's her third novel. Interesting. And then we have 4 Eids and a Funeral. Says what it is on the tin, but 2 fantastic YA authors, so this is going to be great. And then I was sent poems by Len Penny. This is poems that are very feminist, very kind of topical, but she writes them in English and in Scots, so that's going to be fun to read. And it's quite small. I love poetry. And then this one I bought because it grabbed my attention with the cover. The Poison We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. So it's basically, I believe, when they make love potions, it hurts them and you can go to prison or die, but she does it to get money, I think, for the family. And there's all kind of like witches, and she's going to try and solve her mother's murder. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I don't think there's gonna be a romance in this, which is interesting because it is about love potions. But very interesting, and I do like a chunky YA, and it's a little bit floppy, so I'm enjoying that. But yeah, it's quite the amount. Oh Lord. We'll see what I get through at some point in my life. I'm gonna have to shelve these now. We're a bit full, but hey ho. You alright, baby? Hugging the Hoover? My baby. You want cuddles? Yeah. Sorry. Chapter 23. It's not a spoiler at all, but it's just an example of how amazing this author's writing is. So it's the next 2 days pass like honey drizzled from the tip of a spoon. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh man. This book is so good. So good. Hazel's getting comfy. Don't mind my washing. Yeah, bye-bye. Okay. Well, happy Sunday. The Trans Rights Readathon has been going on for 3 days. Yeah, it's Sunday, started Friday, 3 days. I've read The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Core, and that was a really gory kind of retelling of The Little Mermaid, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good. It was only like it's a novella, so it's only like 150 pages, I think. But that was really good. And now I am reading Infinity Alchemist by Case and Calendar, and I am nearly halfway, but I'm like, I will show you. So I'm like a lot of tabs in a very short space of time, but I am underlining and annotating throughout, and it's so freaking good. Like, even on the first page I was like, what's going on? Oh my god, if I can turn a page. And it's like, what's happening? I was a little bit confused at first because Ramsey on the back has she, her pronouns, but within the book it started off with them having he, him pronouns. So I was like, are they going to change gender within the book? Like, are they transitioning? But it turns out that they can magically change their gender whenever they feel like it. So like nearly every chapter they're a different gender. So I would... Are you alright? We good? You okay, Baba? Are you being a drama queen? You've been a little drama queen, Baba. Thank you for that. Better out than in. That's what Shrek always says. Yeah. Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I would probably say Ramsey's gender fluid than anything. Ash is trans. He wears a binder. And I've heard there's a polyamorous relationship. Yeah, look there, polyamorous. So that's fun. I mean, we're not even halfway, and Ramsey and Ash, spoiler alert, have already had sex. But it was handled in a very tasteful way. I'm more for tasteful R-rated things rather than, you know, it's just my personal preference. I'm not yucking anyone's yum. You do you, babes. But I prefer the fade to black. That's just me. But yeah, so I'm gonna drink my tea, gonna get dressed, and I'm probably gonna go to B&M and get some fake plants and some bird food for my new bird table, because it is springing out there. And you probably don't give a shit, but I had 3 goldfinches in my garden yesterday. 3! I'm so excited. I've never had goldfinches in this garden last year, so yeah, it's so exciting. along with like the finches and the blue tits and goddamn the starlings. They're bullies. They're evil. And my collared dove, if you didn't see on my Instagram stories, she's alive. Her name's Pearl. She's got a gammy leg. But she survived winter, and she brought her boyfriend, who I'm gonna call Dean, and yeah. Papa? Who's a forget? Oh my god. On belly rubs. Oh my god. I'm terrible at this camera gig. Look at my hand getting in the way. Okay. Hello. I'm finishing the vlog vertically from my bed. And Hazel's here. Where are you? There you are. Finished Infinity Alchemist by Case in Canada. 4 stars because I felt the plot was a little bit too simple. The whole... Anyway. It was good, and I will be reading the next one. So yeah, 4 stars. A solid first book in a series. Then I read another book. Oh my fucking iPad. I feel like I've been hit by a truck. It's just a normal Wednesday. Right. So. Still loading. Did I tell you about Dear Mothman? It was beautiful. It's by Robin Gow. A middle grade book in verse about this young trans boy who hasn't come out to anyone apart from their best friend, but their best friend has died in an accident, and he's also autistic, and he thinks that the only person that's going to understand the way he feels is Mothman, which is one of my favourite cryptids. So it was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it was really cute, and it had illustrations in it too, and it was just so sweet. Protect trans kids. And I read Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. I probably butchered that name. Probably. Because I am an uncultured English lady. I'm sorry. Well, not lady. Uncultured English blob. that was 5. Look at that. Is that my grey hair or is that Hazel's? It's the dog's. We escape again. 5-star. Favourite book of the month. It was heavy with the trigger warnings. It's basically kind of like we have 3 kind of main stories, like 3 main characters. So we've got Katrina, who is a transgender like kid, bless her, and she runs away from home, and she can play the violin. And then we have a violin teacher known as the Queen of Hell, who needs to find a 7th soul so she doesn't end up cursed. Like, there's like a whole kind of, she made a deal with the demon, and everything. And then at the same time, you've got like this donut shop run by refugee aliens, and the captain of the alien crew and also the mother of the alien crew falls in love with the Queen of Hell. It sounds fucking weird, and it technically is, but it was also one of the most beautiful books I've read in a very long time. Absolutely stunning. The hype is real on this one. The hype is real. And I think that if you can read it, you should. I know that it's not traditionally published, at least over here. I had to get a copy from the cursed website that begins with A, because I can't get it anywhere. But it was fantastic. I found myself like annotating it and underlying so many lines just constantly. It was so good. So good. Yeah, that's everything I read in March. I'm covered in dog hair. I blame Hazel. She's currently going through her spring blowout. So shedding that winter coat. On you, baby. She's ignoring me now. Yeah, I'm gonna take some meds and make a cup of tea. God, I need a cup of tea. But yeah, that was my March. Thank you for joining me. And then April will be soon. Yeah, I love you. Bye bye.